This is Healthy Food Place, where we share ideas and recipes on how you can stay healthy naturally. And so don't forget to hit the subscription button if you are just coming in for the first time. So today I want to talk about the best and the worst foods for your eyes. Yes, I take that again. The best and the worst foods for our eyes. And I'm your host, Grace Enemali, here at Healthy Food Place. And so you are welcome. We want to talk about an important aspect of our body. That is the eyes we use in seeing. Now, as we get older, our eyes tend to degenerate. And that's why you see some of us wearing glasses. And a lot of factors also are responsible for this degeneration of our eyes. And before we talk on this subject of the top best foods and the rest of it, you're welcome. I can see that person. So I want to also, first of all, tell us the worst foods and habits for our eyes. Yes, many people don't value their eyes until they lose it. We will never lose our eyes by the grace of God. It's a very important organ, and we need to support it through the food choices we make. Now, when we were born, of course, nobody was seeing if you start seeing from the first day, then people suspect that maybe an abnormal child. But besides that, as we continue to grow 3 weeks, 4 weeks, that organ begins to get clearer and we begin to see the beautiful things around us. Then over the years again, the eyes seem to also begin to go down, the sight, the ability to see things and identify things and use our eyes. I'm enjoying the use of it. And so what are some of the things, the worst things that we do that affects our eyes and causes it to degenerate speedily? Yes. One of them is staring on a particular thing. That is staring, just as most of us that use the screen. It's one of the worst things we do to our eyes. Some of us, we lie down to read. I'm talking of the habits first. We lie down, and when we lie down, we read while lying down. It's a very bad habit, and it's not good for our eyes. So why are we talking on these ones first? I'm talking on this one because it won't cost you money to do this one. All you need to do is to stop the bad habit that is harming or hurting our eyes. Staring on an object for too long without moving our eyes, like the screen as we are doing, is a very big stress to the eyes. And sometimes when we don't support our eyes with certain foods, which I'm going to mention briefly in this life, the eyes begin to degenerate, and to the point of you see something like tears coming out as if we are crying even when we are not. These are some of the signs that the eyes display to show us that it's not comfortable anymore. And so if we're in that habit, we can reduce it. And then another thing that hurts our eyes is lack of sleep. Yes, when we deny ourselves sleep, or either the sleep didn't come, or we are too busy to sleep. Most of the organs in our body suffers, but the eyes also suffers. Even they seem to suffer the worst of it.
What is that?
And so if we are always awake, even when you are not sleeping, for instance, you could just close your eyes while lying down. Just let the eyes be resting. Let the eyes be resting.
Okay, let me cut off now.
Let the eyes be resting. The eye doesn't have to be open and be staring at something, or just if you are not sleeping or you are not feeling sleepy, you can just close your eyes while lying down so that it will be resting. That's exactly what we're saying. And this one also, you don't need to pay for it. You just relax and close your eyes and keep it on a resting position.
Not much.
So another thing that you can also do to support your eyes is taking sufficient water. Yes. A lot of us are not aware that our eyes need a lot of water.
More than those in Canada.
Yes. You need to support your eyes with.
They are more than now. You said 38 point something, and this one 39.
Daddy, I better carry that. You can go to the kitchen or other place. Anytime I'm doing video, the same thing here, the same thing there, the same thing there. You carry your chair, come. If I dey talk, you shout your own.
Wow. The thing is serious though. $333.
This my.
Wow, that means they are more than yours. Russia.
I have to off this thing. It's not connecting to the WhatsApp group.
100.
It's not sharing. Don't know whether it's network or what.
So that means we are more populated than Russia.
It's not sharing. The link is not sharing. I have to.
Wow. Wow.
Live chat. Message delay. For this video. Community moderation for this video. So, we're talking about our eyes. I'm trying to see how I can share it to the community, to the WhatsApp. I don't know, is it network or what? Share it. Telegram, WhatsApp.
Square kilometers, yes.
So that's it. So I've been able to do that. So we're talking about our eyes. The worst things, the worst foods, the worst habits, and then the top best things, foods that we can take to support our eyes. Because if we lose it, in fact, without the eyes, it's one of the most important organs too. We cannot see, even be doing this life. And so it's so important.
13 times. Wow. Wow. Eh?
So you are welcome. I'm talking about the top foods to support our eyes. Yes. there are certain things we need to do. Some of them, we don't have to buy it, like the ones earlier mentioned. You don't, staring on a subject, whether the screen or whatever, continuously for a long time deteriorates our eyes faster. And that's where most of us that we use the screen, we're affected. Sometimes we stress the eyes so much that the eyes begins to bring out tears. I do experience it once in a while, and it's not good for us. When our eyes, whether one of the eyes or both of them begins to bring out tears, that's a very bad situation. It means that the eye is really under stress. And then I mentioned also that apart from staring on an object, not sleeping, robbing ourselves of sleep, resting the eyes. Sleeping is not, you could lie down without really sleeping. But even when you are not in the sleep mode or sleep state, you can just close your eyes to give you that rest from walking or staring at something. Most of us stress our eyes these days, especially with the social media and whatever. The part of our body that's worst affected is our eyes. We belong to so many groups. We have to check this message, do this, do that, and the eyes is always busy on the screen. It's one of the things that is also damaging our eyes. Then the next thing I said is that we should take sufficient water. Yes, water is very important. It's another organ of part of our body that needs a lot of water is the eyes. So to avoid dryness of the eyes, we must also observe the water therapy, which is part of our lifestyle. Then, besides that, I want to mention the very top foods that can help us to improve or support our eyes. Now, we know that the most important antioxidant for our eyes is the vitamin A. And you can find it in boiled egg. It is because of this one reason that I refuse to take egg out of my diet up till now, because of my eyes. Yes, egg is very, very high in vitamin A, like about 1,800 per one egg. And it's incidentally, it's also very high in cholesterol. And a lot of people are trying to avoid the yellow part of the egg, which is inside it, and eat the outside, the white part, which is basically protein. But it is that very yellow part of the egg that contains the vitamin A we are talking about, very high content of it. And it is that same portion of the vitamin A that houses the cholesterol, that houses the vitamin D, that houses the vitamin E. And the vitamin E is another powerful antioxidant for the eyes. So you can imagine vitamin A, vitamin E, two of them in one, and several others in just one egg. It is just because of this eyes issue that I decided not to take egg out of my diet, because most of the eggs, of course, we know of the way the chickens are organic these days. So we tend to avoid almost everything. But because of vitamin A, for my eyes, I've kept that egg at least a few times in the week to ensure that the eyes receive support. Because if you don't support it with food, these foods that are rich in vitamin A, it's going to be deteriorating. Another food is moringa leaves. And sometimes when you take food that is high in vitamin A, like myself, you could feel the way it's, I don't know how to express it, but the way it will be moving to your eyes, to that aspect, you'll be feeling something there. I don't know whether it happens to other people, but that's how I feel. When I take things like moringa leaf tea, I'll be feeling that thing on my eyelids, and after a few times, start feeling like dozing off. That means that food is very good for the eyes. That means that the eyes want to relax. It has gotten some nutrients that it needs and feels like relaxing, like sleeping. Because when those nutrients are not there, the eyes are dried. Even when you lie down, you can't sleep. When there are no all those nutrients. Another food that is very good is onions. It's a very good food for the eyes. That is not to say that we should start chew raw onions all over all the time, no. But slightly boiled onions, or you can occasionally even chew it, smaller quantity of it raw, especially the purple onions. Use enough of it if you want to support and improve your eyes. I mentioned 3 foods now. The oil egg, not fried, boiled egg. I mentioned moringa leaves. I've mentioned this particular one. I've mentioned boiled egg. I've mentioned moringa leaves. Then let's mention another one. The sweet potatoes is another high vitamin A rich food that we need to include. I mentioned the moringa leaves. Yes, moringa leaves. We need to remember that sweet potatoes also is another vitamin A rich food. We are talking of vitamin A rich foods where we can find the vitamin A rich foods and vitamin E. This powerful vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin C. Very powerful antioxidants that we need for our eyes. And we're talking of the foods where we can find them. And I mentioned eggs already. I mentioned the moringa leaves. I mentioned onions. Yes, that onions is very good for our eyes. At times when we cut it, you can see the eyes bringing out tears. So the purple onions. Then the next food is the carrot. Carrot is a food that all of us know, but it's one of the top best foods. If you need to start including your food. But don't take it too much because it's sugary. We have already talked about 4 top foods now that can help to revitalize your eyes. But the 5th one will surprise you. And I didn't know that 5th one for a long time until lately. And that 5th one is bitter kola. Yes, bitter kola is one of the very best foods that it's not really the vitamin A, it's even a source of caffeine. But once in a while, especially when the eye is bringing out tears, like it happened to some of us, when we have overused it, trying to read this message, trying to attend to this message, meet up with WhatsApp, Facebook, go to TikTok, go to everywhere. Those of us on the Instagram and Twitter, I'm not in all of those ones. But when you try to do all of this, it is your eyes that you're using. And then you need to support it. Yes. The bitter kola is one of such foods. Once in a week, you just take one, especially when those eyes are bringing out tears. Chew one of it. Or twice in a week, especially when the eye is bringing out tears. Just take one of it and just wash it, remove the peels, and just chew it. You're going to feel the calmness. You're going to feel that calmness as it's moving towards your eyes. And that night you will notice that your sleep will be different. You're going to have a very good sleep. Another food that I noticed also lately that it seems to be very good for the eyes because it's most liver supporting foods are also good for the eyes. Not all of them, but a good number of them. And one of such foods is this stone breaker. Yes. Each time I take it, I feel that movement, that calmness descending on the eyelids. And it's very, very good. When it happens, you feel like relaxing, you feel like you want to rest, and all of that. It's an obvious sign that that particular thing you took is good for your eyes. And so I began to recently to take it, to make tea out of it. Once in a while, I make tea out of it and take. Most of the green vegetables are great for our eyes. They are very, very good because they are low in calorie. And low-calorie foods are very good for our eyes. We need to include more of them. Then when you talk of the other antioxidants and oils like olive oil, cold pressed olive oil is good for us because it's a good source of vitamin E. But the worst foods that we must avoid are the fried foods. Too much nuts. A good number of us will love nuts a lot. Too much of it is going to start to cause our eyes to itch. Then this gari, this tapioca flour, those of us that love to drink gari, is good though in small amount. But when you start taking it habitually, it will not be long when you start having problem with your eyes. Your eyes begins to deteriorate because it has no vitamin A. And it is not only the gari, whether you take it as a swallow or you are drinking it, but it seems to be worse when you drink it. Because when some people take it as swallow, they take it with soup, with red oil, and then they took it with other things in the soup, including the oil that helps. But when we drink it, we just drink it like that. No vitamin A, no nothing. So that's how it's one of the worst foods too that can help our eyes to deteriorate. So if you are taking it, you need to be very, very cautious and be mindful of your eyes. Then you need also to know that if you don't want your eyes to deteriorate, in addition to these foods like garlic, some of us are not aware that garlic is very good for our eyes. Yes. Whether you are chewing it or using it to cook, it's one of the foods that supports your eyes in a lot of ways, especially the raw garlic. It helps to fight things like high bad cholesterol. It's a great food, spice for bad cholesterol and several of the spices also. So that's it. So we need to take care of it and reduce the rate at which it's deteriorating. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make here. We're going to be ending it here. So far, you can drop your comment concerning the eyes, food that supports it. There are several other ones, but for now, let's draw the curtain. And I thank you all for coming.